So, how many Mighty Ducks references are we going to make?
So many. I think it's the exact same uniform.
Oh, probably.
By the way, how did they not do the flying bee? Right?
Because this was a historical movie, Bridge. None of this is fiction. Although I feel like some of it was, but maybe not. I don't know. I was watching Mighty Ducks D2, Mighty Ducks, right before we hopped on.
Wait, I do want to share this thing, because Kate, baby Kate,
yeah,
is getting more active and more mobile. And so we took her to this like play space that is like a cafe, so you can get like coffee. And then they have all these like toys, and kids just go like crazy.
Wow.
And so this was the second time we were there, and this makes me think of hockey because Kate got punched in the face by a kid.
Not that. Oh my God, did you put her in the penalty box? Or him or whoever did it?
The lady and this kid were in this like separate room, and Kate's just like crawling around, and so I was probably like 10 feet behind her watching her, and he like grabbed her hair right away. And the mom was like, "No, honey, no." And then as he like pulled his hand back, he wound up and just punched her in the face.
Oh my God!
And let me tell you, Kate, I think my child could be a hockey player because she just took that punch. She didn't cry. She just looked so confused. She gave him the death stare and was confused. Like, who is this kid? And then she just crawled away.
And then over the music in the background in the cafe were they playing "We Will Rock You."
I was like, yo, these are where hockey players get made. It's
on the playground.
On the playground.
Getting beat up. Well, you were really good at rollerblading, so if she has those genes, I mean,
who knows?
She's all set. All set to go.
I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. And then simultaneously, another kid who was older, was really cute. He, I guess, like really liked her.
Aww.
And he kept like, I don't know the right word to say, but like caressing her hair.
Like petting her.
He was like petting her, perfect.
Oh,
but he had a lollipop in his hand. And I was like, get away from my kid's hair with your lollipop. So it was cool, but it was as Herb Brooks of the play space for my child, I did not coach well. I was a passive coach, and I was not ready. I did not scout the players. I did not know what was happening. We lost to the Soviets in this one. Kate was the loser.
I mean, lesson learned. You just got to give her a motivational speech beforehand in the car, which is equivalent to the locker room.
Absolutely.
And then also tell her that you might replace her with another player because that gets them going, apparently.
Holy cow.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello!
Hello there!
Welcome back, listeners.
Welcome back. That was sorry.
Thought you were like getting ready to say something, and I was like, what's it gonna be? But it's just hello. I'm gonna introduce ourselves, listeners, so you know who we are. So, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And do you believe in miracles?
The legs feed the wolf, boys.
Oh, I didn't get what that meant.
Great moments are born from great opportunities.
I like that accent.
I'm giving him a New York accent.
I was going to say, I'm not sure what city that Herb is from, but I don't think it's Minnesota.
That was Herb's twin brother from New York, the Bronx.
Oh, God. His
hey,
brother,
what's our movie?
Burb. Oh, our movie this week is the 2004 movie Miracle.
Wow.
It's about a miracle. Kind of.
It's Miracle on Ice, baby. 1980s Olympics, Team USA hockey versus the Soviets. Do you believe in miracles? You will after talking to us.
You will today.
It's your turn.
It's my turn? Oh, are you sure? All right. I guess it is.
Can you edit cricket noises? Because I have no idea.
No, I don't need any more bugs in this room with me right now. So I'll just fucking do it. Okay, let's see.
Wow.
Well, this is a biography drama history.
True story.
It's a true story. Our main character is Herb Brooks. I will be calling him Kurt Russell, everybody. So you're just on your own gonna have to deal with that. That's
fine.
A me thing. It's not a movie thing. So Kurt Russell is being recruited right in the beginning of the movie to potentially be the lead coach for the next U.S. Olympic hockey team. This is in for the 1980 Olympics. Originally, he was like, I think a college hockey coach. I want to say in Minnesota. Does that sound right? Somewhere Midwest. Yeah. And his team did really well. So they're like, yeah, maybe you'll do it. And he basically comes in hot and he's like, I got the plan to beat everybody. It's crazy. And they're all like, whoa, that might be too crazy. But then it's not too crazy because he literally gets hired like 2 minutes later. And you're like, okay, cool. So he's a little, out of the box coach, if you will. This was actually interesting. And I'm glad the end of the movie clarified this. So back then, like, you could just show up to a tryout and potentially be on the Olympic team. You didn't have to be like an actual professional athlete, which is different nowadays. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. So it was a lot of like some, I think were still like college age players or maybe like just out of college. And there were a lot of players like from the team that he had coached and I guess other really good teams around the country, whatever. So there's supposed to be a bunch of days of tryouts, but Kurt, well, he don't play by the rules, Bridge. Okay. So he's like, I already made the team in my brain. And everyone's like, whoa, you're crazy. And he's like, I'm not crazy. We're going to win. And you're like, okay, that's a little crazy. But yeah, he literally just picks all the players right away. And you're like, that's fucking cool. And basically, it's a lot of build up to these games. And you do find out some backstory about Kurt's character because he himself, I don't remember what year, because years are hard, but he himself was on an Olympic hockey team, except then you come to find a week before, I guess, the team was going to play the finals or the championship or whatever, he got cut. We don't know why.
So I think what I understood is right before they went to the Olympics.
Oh, he got cut. So he didn't even go. I wasn't sure if it was that or if it was he was in it for some games, but then got cut by the last one and then didn't win. Because then the team ended up winning. So he missed out on a gold medal, essentially.
Oof.
So, everyone's kind of like, oh, wow, you're just like doing this because you want to win because you didn't get it last time, whatever. And he is a tough coach. Questionable things, I think, are happening, in my opinion.
Yes.
We will talk about them. And yeah, essentially the team that they're trying to beat is the Soviets. So this is a year after year, they've won gold. They're like a team. All the players have been playing for years, whatever. And they do lose to them in the actual Olympics.
No. They lose to them before the Olympics.
Okay.
3 days before the Olympics starts.
Yeah.
They lose to the Russians.
The Soviets. Or is it the same thing?
Yes, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know dates, so I think we all know that about me. But Bridget will help with that. So, there's a lot of player drama that's happening, whatever, blah, blah. One of the kids' mom died, okay,
Wait. One of them, that's our brother Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. I was like, that's going to be a running gag in the episode. Calling it right now. We're going to make a lot of Jimmy. Everybody take a sip when we say Jimmy.
If Gino is listening to this, you know that Jimmy gave his heart and soul for that game.
I mean, yeah. I don't know Jimmy would have been like this Jimmy, but who knows?
Who knows?
But then in the end, it's the historic game against Soviets, and they're all riled the fuck up. And they end up early in the third period. They get ahead. And then I really like this actually about this movie. And I know this was like how it actually happened, which maybe is why it was like this. Because usually sports movies don't do it like this. But they basically were ahead. And it wasn't that, oh, they tied and it's got to be a big drama. No, it was just the drama was, can they stay way ahead and run the clock.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
But that wasn't even the gold medal game.
Oh.
That was the semifinals.
Oh, yeah, and then they won some other
something.
But
it was just, I mean, the idea of, like, I should probably let you keep going, but the idea of, like, college kids... College kids beating professionals is amazing. Yeah. And from a country that is, like, much better than us for so long. Wow, I tell you.
Hashtag do you believe miracles? Hashtag.
Do you believe?
I believe now. Now I believe.
Oh,
I also believe that mouth guards and larger helmets are real and we should use them. That's what I believe.
So Kate, way to go.
Thanks.
I feel like we can go in order.
Okay.
Because, like Mighty Ducks, we could have, like, gone character to character, but this movie just makes every character feel like the same besides the head coach, right?
Yeah. I couldn't tell any of the characters apart. And then eventually I figured out the goalie because that's Jimmy.
That's Jimmy.
Not our brother Jimmy. Jimmy is that guy. And then O'Callahan was the guy with the bum leg. But then it wasn't a bum leg, and we're going to have to talk about that.
You sound like an old man. You're like, and then O'Callahan had the bum leg over there.
That's
like
what his character
It's like you're at the diner with Dad, talking about, that Jack guy, O'Cal with the hair.
And then Mike Urizone was there, too. And then the guy, this is the only guy I recognize, Nathan West, who played Rob McClanahan. Bridget, you know what movie he was in?
What?
Bring It On.
Wow.
He was Jan. Jan's got spirit. Yes, he do. Jan's got spirit. How about you? Dude, you just lost. He was Jan.
Wow.
Yeah, people don't forget.
Wow. Okay,
anyway.
Here's the thing. When they start off this movie, these opening credits, it's like a crazy montage trying, I think, to place you in the country's kind of emotional state. Yeah. Which is like Nixon, Vietnam War, basically everything sucked, which, if I was to guess, is similar to how shit is now.
Well, and one of the things they talked about was like, there's a chemical spill in upstate New York from a derailed train. And I was like, I think that happened yesterday in Ohio. So I'm glad nothing has changed.
In the movie, when they had that line for the gas shortage, I was like, this just happened a couple years ago. Like, so you could tell that, like, I don't know, things weren't that great and we needed a hero. And boy, oh boy, was it this team.
Yeah.
I think you touched on it perfectly in the synopsis about him being offered, like, or being interviewed for the job and him just being like, here's how I'm gonna do it. I am not a hockey player. I know you are not either.
No.
I am intrigued by how he said the US plays this style, Russia plays this style, and we're gonna break the rules and play like Russia. And I'm sure to a hockey person at the time that was like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they said that for a reason, but I have no understanding of what that means because I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get any of it either, but it did remind me, call back to the Michael Jordan documentary I watched because they did talk, I'm so sorry, because they did talk a lot about how the new coach that ended up being the one that they won a bunch of championships with had like this new style of playing that like changed the game and now it's like a more accepted way of doing things. So that it reminded me of that where I was like, oh yeah, like I guess that is part of a coach's job is to like strategize and things like that. But
options, Kate. What do we got, everybody? Options.
Yeah, I love how these guys were also like, listen, we just don't want to embarrass ourselves. And then Kurt's like, we're already embarrassing. And I was like, that's America's motto. So let me put that on a shirt, please.
But here, I think this is so interesting about the setup is he was the head coach for University of Minnesota. I guess they're like the best at hockey. Maybe they still are. I don't know. But his background was he went to the Olympics, or he eventually went to the Olympics, but that one time he got cut. So he's played, then he coached. He's very qualified to do this.
Yeah.
I think though that, so I don't know about you, but when you watch like college college games versus professional games, in my opinion, all the emotion is in college games.
Oh,
because
I know? Bridge, I go to every Rutgers University goddamn football game. Boy, do I see the nonsense that happens.
Well, I remember too, like playing in college, like you get 4 years, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And so there's something, especially these NCAA games that are like championships, like that's your whole life, whatever. When you're a professional athlete, you're switching teams, you're making millions a year. You're not like, I don't know, I know they're giving it their all, but they're not like giving it their all like a college kid.
Yeah, it's different.
So I loved that he had understanding of that and then like pulled that into the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. So how about his wife though? Because we quickly meet her.
Patricia Clarkson. She was Tammy 2 in Parks and Rec, which was Ron Swanson's second Tammy wife. Or no, maybe she was Tammy 1. She was one of the Tammys.
Yo, I read a Roger Ebert review of this movie that gave it 2 stars.
Ooh,
and
owie.
They went off on her character. They're like, here we go again. A husband who's a workaholic and a wife who has to deal with his workaholism and just is always in the corner being like, honey, are you done with work? Honey, are you going to eat dinner? Honey,
I mean, that is a valid complaint. I kind of was like, who cares about this?
And after I read that, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what she did, except she was his cheerleader. That was cute. Yeah. And when he won, she had his back because he kind of isolated himself from the team.
Yes.
So that was cool. But other than that, I was like, they're not using her character or as an actor, as a phenomenal actor. We didn't really.
I do wonder if they were trying to like have her be the person to kind of teach him the lesson that like this isn't just hockey, like there is more to it, because then at the end that really is like the message you get, because he's thinking of it like we gotta win at hockey and she's like, but you're like also there to like inspire the children and also political rupture in America and you're gonna bring everybody together via hockey. And he was like, what? No way. But then they did, I suppose.
But he did.
So I wonder if that was part of it. But yeah, I didn't like those parts where
she
she's
did
like,
do that.
You didn't pick up the kids. And I was like, It was a long movie too. Like I had to break it up to 2 days. Oy.
In also the Roger Ebert review, they made a little joke being like, she didn't even comment on his plaid pants or jacket. In my mind, I thought she didn't comment on his haircut because she had phenomenal hair and his hair looked like a big giant square.
Not good. Didn't like it.
Well,
not a fan.
Well, here we go, Kate, because we're at tryouts.
This is what I wrote about tryouts. I wrote, there's a lot of mustaches happening here.
It's the 70s, and we have Minnesota and Boston. And those are 2 crazy accents, and I don't even know where to begin with those.
I don't know either, because all I know is that it was a lot of kids that he taught, but then there were the Boston kids, and then they had, like, stupid beef something, and then they, like, started beating each other up in the bar or on the... I don't even know what part that was at. It was very strange. Also, what was the assistant coach's name?
His name was Craig Patrick, and that actor is Noah Emmerich.
Okay.
But I felt like he called him Patrick the whole time. He was like calling him his last name. He's like, Patrick. I don't know how I feel about him.
Think about
he was creepy.
I don't know why he was a character. I felt like he was only there to like make this like okay, you're so crazy as a coach face.
No, I read the strategy. Ugh. So Kurt Russell's like, I'm the aloof, mean coach, but I need someone to be their friend. So your job is to be more like loving and buddy, so I can be removed from that.
But did we see him being like that with any kids? Because I don't remember any of that.
I mean, I feel like a little bit, and he eventually would try to stick up for the kids, and obviously Kurt Russell didn't care. But I think this actor is in a ton of other movies. He always rubs me the wrong way. Like, I don't know why I don't trust his face.
It's because of that creepy face he kept making at Kurt Russell. He was like, It's
a creepy face!
I hate
It's a creepy face.
Yeah.
So look out, because hopefully he doesn't do anything in his real life.
Look out.
But
okay.
Imagine Kate, you make tryouts and there's 26 of you and he goes, cool, now I'm gonna work you to the bone and only 20 of you will go to the Olympics. How upsetting is that to get that far?
Like, I didn't get like a time frame. Like it wasn't like by tomorrow it'll be this many. Like he was like, we'll just see. We have like 8 months. And I was like, what?
So you stop your life, right? Like,
Where's
the dude that's like, yeah, I could have been on the Miracle hockey team, but I literally got cut like the third person. Because the only person that he gave there was time in the movie to was when he got rid of Ralph.
The mustache guy. One of the mustache guys.
I wish like hell I could keep you, Ralph. Ralph's like, I get it. I'm like, Ralph!
And I was like, I don't get it, actually, because you didn't really tell us what Ralph did wrong, but okay, bye.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was some questionable things happening. There was fighting out tryouts. Look, I fucking have it right here. And then this is where Kurt was like, no, let them beat each other up. And you're like, okay, cool. And then he goes, you look like a couple of monkeys trying to hump a football. And I was like, wow, there's no footballs here. No.
Well, then the advisory board gets mad because they're a bunch of kind of hobnobbers that are like, whoa, we should be a part of who you picked. Kurt Russell's like, no. And I gotta say, they didn't really push back on him too much. He just did whatever he wanted the whole time.
They were like, he's already signed the contract. Legally, we're obligated to like not argue. So like, it's our fault legally. So we just gotta go with it.
So here we are.
Yeah.
We advised nothing.
So part of the being on the team very early on is they all have to take what I would consider a personality quiz. Bridge, did you have to take that to get on your college level lacrosse team? I'd like to know. Let me know. What?
I did not.
Thank God.
I looked at it like a psychology, a personality, and like at the end of the day, an effort test. Will they go as far as I want them to? And let's start with pen and paper. Mm-hmm. I thought it was weird.
Except the one guy who didn't do it at all was on the team the whole time. Either way. So
I didn't understand.
I'm not sure what the lesson is. But
I think he got special treatment. Jimmy honestly got special treatment.
Jimmy, not our brother Jimmy. Yeah. Well, Jimmy's the one whose mom died, and like that was like very phoned in exposition where nobody's talking about it at all, and then somebody's like, yeah, don't you know his mom died? She always wanted him to be on the U.S. Olympic team, but also his dad is neglectful and doesn't really care about him. Anyway, that's Jimmy. And I was like, did I ask about Jimmy? What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't know where I saw this image, but if you go on YouTube, you could probably find it.
Okay.
The real Jim Craig in life. If you go on YouTube and look at him training.
Jim Craig real.
Incredible.
Okay.
I don't know how you're going to find this, but there's a picture of him like jumping up and down on like boxes.
Oh my God.
It's the fastest I've ever seen anyone move. He was incredible.
Wow.
Probably
Jimmy,
still is, but
Jimmy,
I don't know.
not our brother Jimmy. Amazing.
Not our brother Jimmy.
Wow.
So, okay, here's where Mighty Ducks did this a little better.
Oh.
So Mighty Ducks made the hard work and the practice like quicker, and then the games longer. This movie did lots of practice and hard work, and then quick games.
Yeah.
I think I looked it up. It was about 35 minutes left once we started the Olympics. This movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. It's a miracle I made it.
That is the miracle that we all made it to the fucking end.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't love that because when the games were actually happening, like those were interesting because the way that they were filmed, it was not a lot of cut shots. So it was genuine, like planned out plays. It was like real hockey that you're watching, and it wasn't like, camera tricks or anything. And I was like, this is cool. But yeah, that was only like probably 10 minutes in total.
I had some lacrosse PTSD because his whole strategy was, you're never gonna be as talented as this team, but you will be the best conditioned. So all we kept seeing was like sprints and sprints and sprints. The legs feed the wolf. I don't know what that means.
I don't get it, but sure.
When I go on my light lady walk, I'll be like, the legs feed the wolf, Bridge. You can do it. Make that half
mile. Just make
mile
sure you say it in your head
block.
And not out loud so no one worries about you. Yeah.
And I understood it, and the one scene where it's a practice game, right? It's not the Olympics yet. They tie, and he makes them do sprints after the game.
Oh, hate it. it.
So they're all like, what?
That was a Gordon Bombay move. Gordon did that to the children.
That was.
Except the children then were like, fuck you, Gordon. And then Gordon's like, I learned a lesson about being a leader. But Kurt didn't learn any lessons. Nope. We all just kept doing it.
Here's what I also didn't understand. The entire movie is like, all right, now that it's been 3 weeks, let's get to know each other. Say your name.
Oh my God. I
literally
wrote, I go, why the fuck are we doing icebreakers now, Kurt? It's like 2 months in, bitch.
So the guy's like, I'm Mike or Rosie or whatever the hell his name is. And he's like, I'm from University of Minnesota. And he's like, what team do you play for? And he's like, Minnesota. And he kept being like, what team? And only once did the captain go, I play for the United States of America.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, are y'all not catching on? Just say you play for Team USA, the sprint stop. It's Pavlov. Like, you play for Team USA, the sprint's end. Where's the personality test?
The psychological war games, I'm not a fan of. And if they watched D2, The Mighty Ducks, they would have understood the assignment. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. All right.
Yeah, but it built how they started to, like, the Boston versus Minnesota rivalry went away, and they started to look at each other as a team. And, cool, I get it. I'm down. I feel like there was this looming anxiety, though, of what 6 people are going to get cut. They didn't bring it up at all for 5 of the players.
Right.
He brings one new player out of nowhere.
Who was it, by the way? Because I'm telling you, I knew the 3 or 4 players, and none of everyone else blended together like they were Jim Bob, the generic American white man. Like, I had no idea.
I had no idea, and I hope I didn't say this already, but I read that they did that on purpose because they wanted none of the characters to stick out, because the whole point was like they were this team culture.
Well, they all look the same, so
they really did.
Mission accomplished. But did that happen in real life?
Yeah. I mean, I think that was like part of the miracle is that Well, it was that they were, nobody was this star player. They had incredible kind of like team synergy. And I think that was the case.
Just walking on, like, it felt, I know it wasn't really mid-season, but it kind of felt like mid-season. And then the other players do like a mini protest. We're like, hey coach, we think this is a bunch of bullshit because like we're family. And like, you try to break up the family. And I thought they were talking about like the entire team as a family. Then I came to find, oh no, they literally just meant these 4 guys are the family, because then Mustache Ralph, who was the family, gets cut and nobody cares. And then we all just move on with our lives. So, like, fuck you, Ralph. I still don't know what you did wrong, but see ya.
Ralph is part of our family, Kate.
Okay.
First of all, after this scene is Christmas, and he gets a whip as a present.
Hate it. Why are we giving our abuser weapons? Please don't do that.
This would not fly now. No. You couldn't have a coach.
Someone would be going to HR or something. Yeah. Something would happen.
It's so interesting to me because I believe people think if you're not this tough, you won't get the results that you used to get. I completely argue against it.
Me too. Yeah.
It's so old school.
Well, and that's the key phrase there, because again, this was the 1980 Olympics. It's not like this happened fucking last year or some nonsense. Like, this is not how things are nowadays. No. And guess what? If I looked at stats and shit like that, I'm sure our stats are probably better now overall. And it's not done that way.
Well, so I know you're saying that it's better now, but somebody tipped me off that there's a women's hockey coach getting in trouble because of alleged abuse. The Harvard hockey coach.
Jesus.
That's right. Hazing, abuse.
When I say better, I don't mean that every coach is better. I mean that the winning teams are run better.
Oh, like physically better.
Yes. And they're treated better, and then they therefore perform better. Whereas the old school mentality is we treat them worse and they'll be scared and perform better.
Yes. Right. And the Kurt Russell psychological kind of pieces to this is, I'm going to make you play Russia 3 days before the Olympics start.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if a lot of coaches like would do that. And so he throws them into the fire, and they learn very quickly they are not.
And where did they play, Bridge? Where was that game
Madison Square Garden! You You're going to New York. The Russians decided they're going to beat you on your own home turf.
Hey, welcome to New York, hey.
Although someone gets hurt, and I believe it's Jack O'Callahan.
This is where O'Callahan, I think, breaks his leg. And then I wrote, bye, he's out. And then literally Kurt is like, all right, bitch, so you gonna play? And then O'Callahan was like, yippee! And I was like, wait, what's a conflict? Is this a conflict? It's not? Okay, I don't understand. I know this is real life. Like, I understand this is based on real life, but like, from a storytelling perspective, there was absolutely no point in having him break his fucking leg. And then the next game, life is good and he's not even in pain.
Well, he didn't actually break his leg.
Well, you know what,
He strained
he had
ligaments.
a cast on it, okay? I don't want to hear it.
Wait, who was the doctor dude? Because he had some, like, Frankenstein weird vibes to him.
I don't know, but he was always around. And I was like, is that common practice that he just has to hang out everywhere? What do you mean? Why are you there?
I don't know if a sport is a great sport if there's a doctor constantly available. Like, I'm not comfortable being like, hey, kids, sign up for the sport. You'll get pretty much hurt.
And I do want to just point out that in the final game, which I know we didn't get to yet, Jimmy, not our brother Jimmy, literally gets his head fucking bashed on the ice, and the doctor couldn't have given two shits. Like, he didn't even skate out.
Nobody ran out there.
They were all no like, team. Just give Jimmy a minute. Let him get up. And I was like, Jimmy has brain trauma now, but fine. It's fine. He might hemorrhage, but fine. It's fucking fine. Yay for hockey. Great. Jesus Christ.
Well, Kate, it was a stretched ligament, not a tear.
Okay.
He can play, but he had to wait possibly 1 to 2 weeks.
So stupid.
He kept Jack, even though Jack was like, are you gonna get rid of me? And he was like, no, Jack. You're family. Except for Ralph.
Jack, you're fucking family. Fuck Ralph because of that mustache, but you're family. Yeah. And then it's the Olympics. Whee! And the Olympics was in Lake Placid. No crocodiles here, y'all.
Go back to our episode with our father.
Oh,
if
God.
you are a true listener.
Wow.
If you haven't listened to that, I don't know what you're doing.
That's
that
episode
was
16, y'all. There's no skating in there.
Did you just pull 16 out of your brain?
That's it. That's what it is.
How did you just remembered that?
It's in there, yeah.
You're amazing.
It is.
Wow, you're the Herb Brooks of podcasting.
Oh my God, Bridge, literally the next line after Lake Placid Olympics, I go, all right, don't worry, we're going to keep bum knee guy, but we cut mustache guy. It all makes sense.
Oh my goodness, but I'll tell you, that first game, every single game they played in the Olympics, they were always behind. Mm-hmm. And in this game against Sweden, they pulled the goalie, Jimmy, our brother Jimmy, with 30 seconds left, put in another player and tied, which I guess keeps you in the Olympics.
It's called a power play.
Wow.
That's a hockey term.
Wow.
That's all I learned from hockey in this movie,
incredible.
By the way. Yep.
Then each game seems to get better. Then it's not as close. They're winning by a lot more. They still start from behind and then they get ahead, and we don't see most of it. We just see the momentum until we get to the Russians. But before we get there, Kate, let's talk about the scene where Kurt Russell is wearing like a little Russian hat.
Oh my God, with his wife at the hot chocolate.
And they're having hot chocolate and ice skating, and I thought, what's happening?
and she was like, you know, if you win, it's like America doesn't suck anymore. And he was like, it's just hockey. And then she's like, it's more than that, Kurt. Okay, this is really the point of my character, all right? You gotta roll with it, okay? Roger Ebert's gonna give me a 2-star review, please. Please, Kurt, help me.
All I'm thinking about is what is happening this year, 2023? What head coach from what is it, the like women's polo team? Like, what team is gonna be the miracle we need for the next Olympics? Also, Kate, this is a side tangent, but how much would you have killed to have Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart?
I literally fucking thought about that, because I fucking know that Snoop Dogg would have walked on set dressed as Herb Brooks in a plaid suit, and he would have worn a weird wig, and he would have just been normal, and Kevin would have been like, Snoop, what are you doing? What's happening, Snoop? You'd have been like, I was inspired.
Well, and I imagine Snoop actually knowing the plays, and he'd be like, yeah, so they're doing the power play number 2, double up knuckles, and Kevin Hart would not know it, and they would just fight over that the whole time.
And then they invite Ralph on to interview, and they're like, Ralph, I mean, here, have a blunt, all right? Just chill out, man. You know, fuck it, right?
They steal a gold medal for Ralph. So The Russian game is, to me, it was a very close game the whole time.
Yeah.
Anytime someone scored, by the way, tears are happening. I am moved emotionally.
What?
Something about my athletic past. I don't know. Did you cry? Does this movie make you cry?
I cried when it was the very end and it was the time was like down.
I started crying like
because when they get ahead, like that's when I was like emotional and I was like emotionally invested.
Okay.
When it was the whole build up, I was kind of like, yeah, the Soviets are cheating or whatever nonsense. They were like slashing, which is another hockey term, which is where you like hit someone with your stick, but you can't do it from a certain height up, and they were, and then they didn't get called. And I literally wrote, I go, what is the point of the fucking refs if we can just bash Jimmy, not our brother Jimmy's head on the ice? And like, that's not a penalty. Okay, cool. Like, I could just go tackle the goalie and nobody's gonna call me on that.
But the one time they did get a penalty for slashing and they lost somebody on the ice,
that's when
they scored during that time.
And then that's when they got ahead.
Here's what I thought was interesting that I never paid attention to, is they have the best goalie in the world.
Yeah.
And he got scored on twice, so the coach just like took him out.
Not a great move, because then they got another score on the other goalie.
I don't know about that.
Damn.
First of all, the entire game, I was like, well, brother Jimmy killed it. Like, the goalie was every single, probably more than 70% of the film was him saving and flying on the ground.
He literally was just like dive bombing on the ground. And I'm not kidding, Bridge. I thought of you a little bit. And I was like, I've been to a lot of Bridget lacrosse games, but like, I don't think you ever did. Like you're not like body slamming the ground to like block the goal. Like, that was intense. And I don't know if that's common in hockey or if that was just his strategy and it was working. I don't know, but wow.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure to some, but it gave you this college kid energy. Like it gave you, I'm just gonna do it all. And I'm telling you, look up this YouTube video of the real person training. It's incredible.
I still wonder if he also had some like brain trauma and, you know, wasn't in full control of his body movements and just happenstance would be like, whoa! And then like we would block it, you know, like, and I'm not saying he's not talented. He's very talented, but I'm just really worried about that head bashing. It's really scary.
It's crazy.
Brain injuries are no joke. Huh.
It was so good. They tied it, and then after they tied it, they scored again, and I just kept writing like, Johnson scored! Johnson scored a lot.
Well, and then it's just the countdown, which I said before, I love that because that's not usually how you see a sports movie go. It's usually like they're behind, and then in the last 0.5 seconds they score and now they win. Like,
yes.
Or it's like they're tied and then it's like a shootout, and like this wasn't like that. It was just about defense.
Yes.
Like it was like, we're just gonna fucking defend and run the clock out. I was like, yes, that's fun.
They had an interesting strategy where this is where the conditioning came in, is he switched the like teams every 30 to 40 seconds.
Oh yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, right.
That's
and that was another thing they were commenting on. They were like, no team has been able to physically like keep up with Russia at this intensive a level like for this long. Because I don't know how long hockey games are. I mean, they've got to be at least like an hour and a half, right?
Probably.
Yeah, and like just nonstop. And that was the thing too about hockey. It's like the clock does not stop unless there's a penalty or someone scores, and that's like not common. There were no fucking penalties. The refs are just eating popcorn over there. Okay, so you're literally just sprinting around like ice skating, and that is insane. That's crazy to think about.
Even when they're like, oh, switching the lines, that is incredibly hard for me on ice skates to jump over like a wall just to take a break. I'm not a hockey player.
I can't even ice skate without the little walker, and then even that on the ice, I'm unstable. So yeah, it's impressive. Gotta say.
And if you think about it, this idea of, oh, you have a bunch of college kids playing these professionals that have played together for 10 years. They're nowhere near as good as them.
Yeah.
But they definitely could be more fit because a bunch of 23-year-olds having like the most epic energy. Like, think about your energy at 23. Incredible.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So then they win, and then it's, do you believe in miracles?
USA! USA! USA!
And then Kurt does a dramatic smile up to his wife, and then he immediately runs away to be by himself, and he cries in the corner. And I was like, honestly, same sometimes, but it's okay. Celebrate too. All right.
Real talk, Kate. I was not that excited to watch this movie. I don't know why. I just wasn't in the mood. I just wasn't feeling it. By the end, I'm crying. I'm inspired. I'm ready to feed the legs the wolf. Put the legs, feed the wolf. I'm ready.
Okay. Good.
So I think when I think of this movie, I would honestly never watch it. I'd never be like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie. But I think I should if I need a pump up. This is a good pump up.
I do wish it was shorter.
It needed to be shorter.
I think the last third of the movie is the most exciting part.
Yes.
So that's fun. Maybe just YouTube that section. But I do want to say the quote that they list at the end, because again, this was what I think was an underlying theme, is you hear Kurt Russell doing a, voiceover or whatever of everybody celebrating. He goes, "It was more than a hockey game, not just for those who watched it, but for those who played it." And then it did cut to Jimmy, not our brother Jimmy, who wanted to be in this because of his mom who died. And that was really sweet. And then they did a little cue card where it said, I think right after that year, which is really crazy to think about, that's when they stopped doing tryouts and just took professional hockey players. Which doesn't that seem kind of crazy?
That's bullshit.
I know. I was like, wait, why though? It just, the timing of it seemed very strange. It's very interesting. And, even with professional athletes, I mean, not every professional sport is in the Olympics, but I think of basketball and things like that. It's you get professionals, but you're not getting the best of the best most times because they don't want to get injured for their real person job and not their Olympic job. And I don't know. It's just like you said before, I think you're getting energy. People with not the same energy or motivation or mindsets as someone who went and tried out,
The only argument is basketball, because we always send our professional basketball athletes, and I think they've won.
But is it the best of the professionals? Because there's a lot of professionals.
So. I think so.
I mean, I guess you're right, because Michael did go, because I learned that in the Michael Jordan documentary,
but
Bridge.
Not all sports.
Yeah.
So the Olympics are they're a lot. They're tricky. It's a tricky thing.
They also did a little "Where Are They Now" segment of the real life people on the team. Did you watch that part?
Nope.
It was it was actually the credits, I guess I should say, where they were here's the actor that played this person, but then it would write out what that person, the real life person, what their job was, right now, or I guess maybe when the movie came out. And a lot of them were they're the hockey coach for this college team or whatever. But most of the guys went into finance. Surprise, surprise. The white guys went into finance.
The 80s.
Well, yeah, that. And then one guy became a dentist. And I was like, LOL, dentist for hockey players. Wolf the dentist, stand-in, D2. Oh my God. Yeah, very
Mouth
interesting.
guards came out and he's like, God damn it, why am I a dentist anymore?
Yeah, it's what the fuck?
Didn't see that coming.
Well, Bridge, this was a listener pick. We sometimes forget to remind everyone of that. Oopsie. This was picked by Martin. Martin,
I'm so sorry we didn't talk about you more.
I hope you enjoyed our review, Martin. I hope you were not secretly Ralph, the mustache man who got cut, Martin.
Martin, I'm sorry.
If you are, let us know. We'll
Martin,
get you a gold medal. Okay.
Martin, I'm sorry for admitting I wasn't that excited to see this movie.
I mean,
but I'm happy I did. I did. Thanks.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same, and I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily watch the whole thing, but the ending is fun. So
it's great. I teared up.
Yeah,
a lot.
Okay,
Kate, it's my pick now.
Whee! And
I'm gonna do another listener pick.
Oh my God!
This listener pick is from Doug. Doug, you might be shocked because you're somewhat top of the list, and I just like your pick.
Oh, shit.
So that's how that goes.
Might piss off all the other listeners.
So sorry, Kate, this is a 2008 American comedy film. There's some heavy hitters in this.
Oh my God.
I love it. The story revolves around Peter, who's a music composer for a TV show that happens to feature his girlfriend, Sarah Marshall. We're watching forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, inside of you, I long to be. Is it wrong to be inside of you? Bridge, I quote this movie often in my life. We talked about this movie on the podcast at one point. I have no idea why, but it was me telling you one of my favorite quotes.
Which is,
I saw him beat up a man with a starfish, and then Peter goes, no way. And then Paul Rudd, who said it, goes, that man was me. It's a fucking great movie.
Jason Segel, Paul Rudd, Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, Russell Brand.
Oh, fucking Russell Brand. Jesus Christ.
So many. All the people.
Fun fact, and I think if we, the way we usually watch things for the podcast is like streaming, but this movie used to be played on cable TV a lot, and they would play like a different version of it, and there were a lot of scenes that like were changed in big ways on the TV version. Really? But we're going to probably watch the normal version, so I'll talk more about that.
Because it's too racy? Is that why they...
Yes. They would change some of the dialogue and things, and
well,
you do see Peter's Peter in the movie, so that wasn't on cable. Sorry.
Well, Doug, we're gonna watch it all. I'll tell you, no PG rating here.
Doug, have you been to Hawaii recently?
Doug, can we go to Hawaii?
Doug! Bring us!
Doug!
Wow.
I am very excited for that one. So
that's a good. When was the last time you watched it?
I was thinking about that a long time. And is 2008 that's a pretty late nostalgia.
It's still nostalgic though. 2008, that's over 10 years ago. That's 15 years ago.
Keep going. Okay. That's 12, that's 13, that's 14, that's 15 years ago. Okay.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It came out when I was in high school.
Well, what else is there to say, Kate? I think we're done.
Well, Bridge.
Yeah.
Just want to say.
Oh, yes.
If we were on the U.S. Olympic hockey team run by not Russell Brand. Oh, God. Kurt Russell. Oh, dear. Wrong Russell.
Wow.
Run by Kurt Russell. And we just, lost or tied or something stupid. And he made us do ice sprints or whatever that's called. I would immediately yell out, actually, this was done in D2 the Mighty Ducks, or maybe it was D1, I forget. They're a little similar. And it's a bunch of bullshit. And you want me to say I'm on Team USA? Because I am. Team USA all the way, deuces. And then I'd skate off the ice with you.
Wow.
And I'd bring you too, I think, because that was about you somehow.
Kate, I think to help you, I'm going to stop your D2 movie rant.
Thank you.
Because we'll keep doing sprints on this USA hockey team.
No.
And instead, just really emotionally shout out, Bridget, Sisters Who Seen It Podcast, Team USA! And then stop sprinting for you and everyone, and also make sure he doesn't make us sprint more because of your rant.
And then we won't buy him a whip. We'll talk everyone else out of that and say, guys, too much.
Yeah, he's not Indiana Jones. It's not funny.
No way.
And also, you're all white, and that's not good either, okay? Because you're missing, it's not good.
All right, well, and listen, if you also are ashamed of America's history and many of the white people's culture, and if you think that Kurt Russell needs a chill pill, please.
He really does.
Thank you. And if you think that Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg should do a throwback Olympic review and really just review scenes from this movie and dress up as Kurt Russell's character, you should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So this movie, Miracle, was requested by Martin, and the next movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, was requested by Doug. All right? And they both went on the website, filled out the form, went on a list. We looked at the list with our eyeballs, and we picked it. And we pick randomly. So get on there. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee. And if you are like, what? I got ahead of the list and I wasn't one of the 6 cut from the 26
You
team.
were not Ralph?
Because, Doug, you're going to the Olympic gold, baby.
Wow,
You
Doug
can
is Jimmy,
give
our
us-
brother.
You can give us money. And also, if you're thinking, wait, I don't care about that, but I want to rep some merchandise, some funny inside jokes, some here, some there, everywhere. Okay?
Yep.
Thinking of that old movie.
Okay.
Check that out, okay?
Yeah.
I will just keep adding random things and just see what you like. And if you like a lot of stuff, we'll just make the same thing. So enjoy.
Ooh, enjoy.
Check it out.
So check all that out, listeners, and we hope to hear from you. All right. We'll see you next week for Forgetting Sarah Marshall. There's a lot of songs in this movie. Go see a psychiatrist. I hate the psychiatrist. Go see one anyway. I don't like the psychiatrist. You need to go see one. Go see the psychiatrist.
Wait, he's like
I'm
now
not
doing
going.
a show on that.
What?
He's like, he just came out with a show where he's a psychiatrist.
Wait, that guy?
Jason
Segel?
Segel.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Does he sing that song?
No, but he should.
Wow.
It's called Shrinking.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He
All right,
manifested that.
I hope you enjoyed this. Don't do any slashing, and we'll see you next week for Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Bye-bye.
See you then. Bye-bye. I love you.
I love you.
Bye.
The legs feed the wolf. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Love you.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswho'veseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.